Hello, Star Wars fans. Today, I'd like to talk about why Lucasfilm refuses to apologize or even admit that they messed up the direction of Star Wars, and why they instead chose to attack the fanbase. I recently watched a video titled Transactional Analysis 1: Ego States and Basic Transactions, which basically explains people's state of mind, summed up into parent, adult, and child. I bring this video up because it helps explain Lucasfilm's choices in dealing with the fan backlash after The Last Jedi. Currently, Lucasfilm has a female-centered work culture. I don't think anyone will deny that. The president, Kathleen Kennedy, is a woman, and Kiri Hart is also a woman, and she is the person in charge of the direction of Star Wars characters and plot lines. But you might ask, why am I pointing this out, and why is this important? Let's dive into that. Before, companies would take a "the customer is always right" approach when dealing with customer criticism. They would then hopefully use that criticism and put out a superior product or service with fewer issues the next time around. They handled themselves like adults and treated their customers like adults. Basically, they gave them respect. However, more and more companies these days are trying to shame their customers by labeling them as misogynists if they don't purchase their products or services. This is a shaming tactic, and shaming tactics are primarily used by parents on children. And surprise, surprise, the parenting role is usually filled by women. Which means the company and customer relationship is no longer adult to adult and has shifted into a parent and child relationship. This parent-child relationship is the cause behind Lucasfilm's apparent thick-headedness in dealing with the Disney Star Wars criticism. It means that Lucasfilm won't treat criticism from the Star Wars fanbase as if it's coming from an equal. Instead, criticism will be treated as if it's coming from children who won't quietly take their medicine or eat their vegetables. So when Lucasfilm employees call us, the fans, misogynists, what they're trying to do is shame us into buying their feminist product to prove our innocence. And that's why the Star Wars fanbase is disintegrating. I think everyone has experienced that feeling of being yelled at by your parents for something that you didn't do. Did you feel like giving your parents money? No, you got angry. And how often did your parents feel the need to apologize for their mistakes? Rarely, if ever. That's what is happening with Lucasfilm and from other industries whose customer base was mostly men. Comics, card games, video games, and now movies. So don't expect an apology. At least not as long as the work culture is female-oriented. Now some of you might be questioning my logic, since Disney is in charge of Lucasfilm, and of course Bob Iger is the man in charge of Disney. There should be no problem firing a woman when a man is in charge, right? However, in today's world, a man in charge doesn't prevent female work culture, especially after the Me Too movement, where a man can have his career ruined without proof by a single accusation. There is also something known as female group preference, where being mean to a woman offends all other women. Bob Iger is on the board of directors for Disney. There are 10 of them total, and 4 of them are women. If Bob Iger was to publicly fire Kathleen Kennedy for doing a bad job, that means the 4 women on the board of directors will take it personally as well, because it was mean, and thanks to female group preference, Bob Iger becomes an aggressive threat to these women. So the 4 women will band together, and not only will they obstruct whatever he tries to do in the future, it is likely they will try to replace or ruin him by any means necessary. And by any means necessary is a scary threat after the Me Too movement. It's irrational, but Bob Iger can't outright fire his own employee who has tanked what was once the biggest movie franchise in history. What he has to do instead is be diplomatic and let her pretend to bow out as if it was Kathleen Kennedy's decision to retire/leave from Lucasfilm. This way, he doesn't trigger the females on the board of directors and safely retains his place on top of the hill. Sounds crazy, right? It is. Companies should be able to treat their customers as equals because if the customer's happy, the company makes more money, and it's a win-win for everyone involved. But that's not how Lucasfilm is doing business these days, and as long as the current female work culture is retained, then I can predict one thing. No matter how good the trailer looks for Episode 9 will be chock full of their ideological medicine. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the content, maybe check out some of my other videos and click the subscribe button. Everyone, thanks for listening, and have a great day.